Okay, so today we are going to, you just should have finished quiz 9.5. We're going to correct 9.2, and we're going to do a Le Chatelier lab that you picked up last time. So let's get 9.2 handed to a neighbor. We'll correct it. Okay, so if I can get your attention up here, you should have your lab out in front of you, so because we're going to talk about it. Also, so Monday we're going to have a review. We're going to do speed dating again with a review, and then our speed probleming with a review. Okay, and then on Wednesday is your test. Both of those days I will not be here. You will have a sub, so don't get me a bad report from you because it's an automatic U if you do. I will not be here for the test. However, okay, I will be here on Tuesday. I won't be here Monday or Wednesday. I've got to watch my grandbabies. Okay, so my daughter's in Israel, so I'm going to be watching the grandbabies that day. Yes. So you'll need to come in Tuesday and take the test. So plan on Tuesday. You'll have to do probably during, I would come in early on Tuesday. So during late start, come in and take it during that time. Because I have to leave for a dentist appointment right after. So I was trying to think how I can fit that in. Okay? For what? Oh, that's a lab committee for just CE.
Oh, it's just CE?
It's just CE.
Then what's that little pink paper keep giving me?
That's to come in, that was coming in last Friday to get help.
Every time I've tried to come in for Friday, I can't. Did you really come in? Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through, so what I wanted to tell you is I will be here on B days next week, and I will be here on Friday. So you guys will start a new unit on Friday. So if you need help after you look at the review and you don't know that you really got it because it's a whole year stuff, okay, that's going to be on the test, it's all multiple choice. There's no written on the test. It's all multiple choice. Okay, so we'll be taking that on Wednesday. Okay, but it is up to Wednesday. Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Anything that we've learned up till Wednesday next week can be fair game on the test. Okay? All right, so let's talk about the lab. Okay, we're still working with Le Chatelier, which is the shifting of equilibrium. We're still working on Standard 5, Objective 2B and 2C. I expect you to have the equilibrium lab done today and turned in. There's no homework. Okay? So next week, on Monday you come, you need to finish the review in class. Okay? So we're going to be doing the shifting, going to correct it in class, and then you should be able to take the review home to study. Okay? Turn it in the day of the test. Now, I am also going to have you guys put the classroom back together after the test, like I have normally had you do. So it will be set up. I'll set it up Tuesday night for the test. I'll have you guys put it back together, back to normal. Okay? So let's talk about this lab. Before we do, I had to get myself a reminder up here. I've had a lot of kids in the review questions for the last several assignments really mess up on this. So I want to go back over this and sort of get it in your head again. Okay, so what is P? What element? Phosphorus, good. How many protons does this have? 15, it's the bottom number. Whatever the bottom number is, that's my atomic number. That's how many protons there are. How many electrons does this isotope have? How did you get it? So it has more electrons than it has protons, and if I had 15 protons, I've got 3 extra electrons because it has a negative charge. So that's 18. Okay? Now, how do I find the neutrons? You take the atomic mass minus the protons, right? So that would be what? 17. Good. I have this put up weird, so it will all come up at once if I show you. So we'll show at the very end. Okay, what is Na? Sodium. It's not. Sodium is not S. So S is what? Sulfur. Okay. So Na is sodium. How many protons does sodium have? 11. How many electrons? I heard 12, 11, and 10. Which is it? Okay, if I have 11 protons and I have a positive charge, what does that mean about the electrons? There's less electrons. Okay, so if I have 11 protons and there's less electrons because there's not enough to balance the charge. So one less electron would be 10. So there are 10 electrons here. How many neutrons? 12. 23 minus 11. Okay, let's go to this one. Li is what? Lithium. What is the atomic number? 3. What does the atomic number tell me? Number of protons. So how many protons are there? 3. 3. Okay. How many electrons do we have? 2. Good. Because I have one more proton than I have electrons. Good. And how many neutrons do I have? 4. Good. Bigger number. Te, what is it? Tellurium. Good. And how many protons do I have? 52. How many electrons do I have? I have 2 more electrons because I got a negative charge, so 54. How many neutrons do I have? Okay, good. I'm going to take the 128 minus the 52 to get my neutrons, which is 76. What is PT? It's platinum. It's platinum. If I didn't know what it was, what could I do? 78. What's number 78? Platinum. Okay, so how many protons does it have? 78. How many electrons does it have? Add 3 more to it. Good. And how many neutrons? 123. So you should be able to do this stuff like really fast. Okay? All right, so let's go on to the next one. We're going to do an equilibrium lab. This is a concept where a lot of kids have a misconception, and so this lab helps you to understand what exactly is equilibrium. Because a lot of kids say, it's just equal. It's not. You're going to find out today. We're going to move buckets of water back and forth. Okay, so we're going to have you, each lab group, pick up 2 cans. One that has an R for reactants, one that has a P for products. You're going to set them next to each other. You're going to fill them no fuller than half full. I know on your lab it says 15 centimeters, but guess what? There's only 17 centimeters depth in these cans. So if you fill it 15 and you move things back and forth, you're going to end up overflowing. So you're going to grab 2 rulers and you're going to put them down, centimeter, 0 down. And you're going to put no more than half full. Which one does it say to put more full than the other one? Products. So I'm going to put more in the products than I have in the reactants. Everybody okay with that? And turn to the second page. On the second page, down at the bottom left-hand corner, it tells me trial 1, 2, 3. So for the first trial, I'm just going to measure the depth on each of them. Okay, and I'm going to put it down. For the second one, we need to have a large beaker, a small beaker, and we need to have a graduated cylinder we'll use later. So where does it tell me in my procedure on the front page, where do I dip the large beaker in? The reactants. So my reactants are right here. So I always just put them right here. What you're going to do is you're going to throw it, yes, drop it. Okay, you're going to dip as far in as you can, bring it up, and trade it. You cannot tip your cans. Cans are like they're glued to the table. You cannot tip your cans. You're just getting as much as you can get in each of these and switching. You're going to set those down, read the level. That's your trial 2. Then you're going to keep doing that until you keep getting the same results 3 times in a row. I might have 3, 3, 3, and 7, 7, 7, not 5, 5, 5, 5. Does that make sense? They're going to be different. At that point, it will tell you to take your, I think it's number 11. What does it say? So you're going to take your reactants over the sink, and you're going to add 2 large beakers of water to it, and then come back. Get the first measurement again, and that's going to be your trial. And then you're going to keep going again until you're equal. Okay, now here's where we need to fix your lab. Okay, once they're equal, right, you're going to take one more dip with your large beaker into the reactant. It says product. Fix that. It's supposed to be reactant. Okay, so see where it says do one more dip after you hit reactants? Let's see if I can bring it up. Yeah. Number 13, 14, 15. Okay, so do one more dip with a large beaker into the reactants. Yours says products, so do it the reactants. Fix that. So you're going to do one more dip with a large beaker into the reactants. Then you're going to pour it into your graduated cylinder. Okay? And you're going to measure how much. If it gets to getting close to 100, stop at 100, dump it back in, and then put more in and add 100 to it. You shouldn't be over 100. I'll tell you that. Okay? Then, once you're done with that, you're going to hopefully be able to pour it into your small beaker and see what happens. That's where you're writing your observation. So in that box that says observation, that's where you're writing it. Now we're using a 250 milliliter, so down at the bottom where it says large beaker, put 250 milliliter in the data, the first box. And we're using a 50 milliliter for the small beaker. So 250 for the large beaker, 50 for the small beaker. Okay, so after I've done it with the big beaker and I've dumped it and I've put it in here and then I've poured that in here and see what happens, I'm just doing it over the reactant because it all goes back in the reactant and I dump that out. Then I'm going to take the small beaker and dip it into the products and see how much I got out of it. Okay, this should be your aha moment, is what I'm hoping when you get that. Once you're done with that, dump it all out, put it all back. Okay? And then you work on doing your graph. When you do your graph, you pick two of the colors in your colored pencils. Do one for the products, one for the reactants. So on your graph, you'll have two lines going across. They might cross each other, they might not cross each other. But it's like those graphs that we saw in the lecture last time. Okay, you're going to make your own. So put dots, then connect the dots for one color. Your x-axis is your trial number. Your y-axis is your depth in centimeters. Okay? And you have a couple questions to answer, and you hand it in. Make sure you get a clean up stamp when you clean everything up. Do I have any questions? Yes. You're working in pairs. So I've got the threesome right here. That's going to be a threesome. So probably just take it all back to hubby. Okay? No, we're not going to use Logger Pro. We're just going to do it by hand. Any other questions? Okay, get up and get your stuff you need.